Hello guys, my name is 711 and welcome to week 6 of the UGBC. This week we are battling David, coach of the Fat Leonardos. This is a rematch from week 1. We lost 2-0 because the Mega Houndoom was just out of control and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So this week he brings a somewhat different team. He brings the Miltank instead of the Emboar, and he brings the Togekiss instead of the Aerodactyl. So I brought a pretty similar team as you guys remember. So let's start off this battle here. So he starts off with the Houndoom as I start off with an Ambipom. And so I go for a really fast low sweep just to lower Houndoom's speed, but it didn't really matter here with Togekiss. I switch out predicting a Thunder Wave whenever he actually goes for Air Slash. I predicted Togekiss to switch out, and so I send in Ambipom again, and here comes Drapion. So I go for a Fake Out, which does a fair amount of damage. I get a nice flinch, and he actually switches out, and I go for the U-turn, a safe U-turn, so I get Switch Initiative, and I send in the Nidoking again. And so Togekiss is forced to switch out, and I go for the Poison Jab, which does a solid amount of damage. So Vaporeon has to switch if he wants to preserve it, and so I switched into Serperior. I go for the Taunt here. As he went for Stealth Rock. I was figuring he may go for Curse or whatever. Taunt was actually a good thing. So I send in Mew, and this is a huge play right here. On the switch, I go for Flame Charge, and now Mew is essentially holding a Choice Scarf, but can switch up its moves. So Drapion goes down nice and easily, and Mew is able to Ice Beam, which does a solid amount of damage. And the Synchronize bounces back to Paralysis. So that's excellent. And Togekiss gets paralyzed. So he wants to preserve this Togekiss for whatever reason. And here's an Ice Beam. Let me close that out. So now here's the Empoleon here. I figured, you know, I may as well get up my own Stealth Rocks here. And here's the Houndoom. And it goes Mega. He goes for Taunt when I actually had the Mental Herb, which was actually really good there. And that threw off David for a little while. So I send in the Nidoking as he actually had Hidden Power Electric. That was a really crazy prediction on my part. So Togekiss dies to Stealth Rock, and now here's the Excadrill. And so I decide to switch, and here's the Altaria predicting the Earthquake, but no, it was actually an Iron Head. I really needed something to die, and I figured that Altaria just really wasn't a good matchup against the rest of the team. So there's a low sweep, but Excadrill ate the Chople Berry, and I really needed Ambipom to stay healthy, but that didn't really work out as you saw. So there's a low sweep which did a third of its health, and Miltank is now pretty slow. So another low sweep is able to make Miltank even slower, but this isn't working out for me very well because low sweep is not doing half, and Miltank is doing more than half, is doing half because of Milk Drink. So this isn't a very good situation for me. I decided I may as well go for Ice Punch and hope for some freeze hacks, but they didn't happen. And the Body Slam takes out the Ambipom. So now it's 2-2, it's 4-4. We both lost 2. So I go for a Scald there, I get a critical hit Scald, but no burn. And David doesn't realize that he has 2 Pokemon weak to Scald. There's the burn finally. what David doesn't realize is that he has a Vaporeon that can switch into all the Scalds, but he just doesn't remember that. So I go for a Roar here, and then comes Houndoom. And he has the Endure reversal in order to hit Empoleon. So I'm not going to allow that. I'm just going to keep roaring out and roaring out and roaring out for the next several turns, just for these Stealth Rocks here. So now Houndoom is down to 51%. He wants to go for Endure just for that reversal, but I'm not going to let him. So Miltank is still causing me some problems. No paralysis there, luckily. And go for Roar again, and there's the Vaporeon. This is whenever he finally realizes, wait, I have a Scald taking him, Vaporeon. So in comes Excadrill. And I go for Scald there, but it doesn't matter. He's too fast. Excadrill is just too fast. So I let Mew come in and Earth Power this Excadrill. So that's a really big threat out of the way. Now the biggest threat on the field is Miltank, essentially, because Mew can't really do much to Miltank. And now here's the Vaporeon, and I go for the Roost. And Hydro Pump does a huge amount of damage. I find out that that Vaporeon was Choice Specs. Choice Specs Vaporeon with Hydro Pump and Hidden Power, Electric. So it's up to Nidoking here to take on this Miltank. I go for Poison Jab, and he goes for another Milk Drink. So Miltank really has to die here, and Nidoking gets paralyzed, and that's essentially the game, because now Nidoking is useless, and Serperior is useless against Miltank because this Miltank has Sap Sipper. I was fearing this the whole time. I really was. And so Hidden Power Rock was like the only thing that I could do against Miltank. I tried a Leaf Storm just to see if my guess was correct, and it was. And so that's essentially the game right there. So Miltank is able to take out Serperior with 2 more Body Slams, and that was the game. So that was a really great game, David. My Mew was able to put in a lot of work against your team. My Mew took out the Excadrill. My Mew took out the Drapion, and it put a lot of damage onto the Togekiss so that it would die upon re-entry to Rocks. But in truth, when it came down to the end, even if Nidoking did take out the Miltank, Nidoking was still paralyzed, and Houndoom would be able to outspeed the Nidoking and the Serperior. If Serperior took out the Miltank, Houndoom would still outspeed the Serperior. So it was a losing battle for me once. It just started going downhill once Ambipom died. That Chople Berry on the Excadrill was really good. So that was the battle. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.